The movie Aladdin taught us a lot. Tigers are friendly, carpets can fly, and genies give you free wishes. Unfortunately though, in reality, most jinns, which are their actual name, were not so gracious if you came across them. The sands of Arabia are shrouded in mystery. Tales as old as time itself tell of magical creatures who inhabit the vast desert. Weary travellers tell stories of whispers in the night. Were they hallucinating? Probably, but the stories are interesting nonetheless. Now, unlike the movie, jinns were not giant blue happy-go-lucky characters who granted wishes. They're way older, way stranger, and definitely way scarier. So who or what are the jinn? Where did they come from, and why do they have such a bad reputation? Stick around, because the truth about the jinn is stranger and more interesting than you could possibly imagine. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be looking at the history of the jinn. No, not the drink. Jinns are creatures from Arabic folklore, and if they are nice, can grant you wishes. If they are not so nice, well, we're going to get into that. But first, if you love history and you want to see more wonderful videos, please consider subscribing to my channel and check out more of my videos. I do loads of random history videos like this. So, who are the jinn? Let's start with the basics, shall we? In Islamic tradition, jinns are supernatural beings created by Allah. According to the Quran, jinns are intelligent, free-willed, and invisible. That's right, invisible. They live in a parallel world to ours, kind of like a supernatural Wi-Fi network that you really don't want to connect to. But unlike angels in Christianity, jinns aren't always friendly. Some are good, some are bad, and some are just plain mischievous. Think of them as the chaotic cousins of the supernatural family. The jinn actually predate the Islamic religion. In Arabia, before Muhammad, people believed in spirits that lived in deserts, ruins, and even the shadows. These spirits could possess people, mess with their minds, or even protect them. They were basically the desert's paranormal activity. Now, when Islam emerged, it incorporated these older beliefs into a more structured framework. The Quran mentions jinn multiple times, even dedicating an entire chapter to them. Surah al-jinn. Now, fun fact, one of the most famous jinn in Islamic tradition is Iblis. Iblis refused to bow to Adam and got himself cast out of paradise. So he is similar to Lucifer in Christianity, but with more fire and less angst. So, what do jinns do? Jinns have a pretty broad job description. They can shapeshift into animals, possess humans, and even whisper bad ideas into your ear. Ever had a random urge to do something stupid, like the devil on your shoulder? Well, that might have been a jinn. In some stories, jinn can grant wishes, like in the Disney movie Aladdin. However, unlike the genie from Aladdin, a jinn's wishes often came at a cost. In The Fisherman and the Genie from 1001 Nights, a fisherman releases a jinn from a sealed jar, only to be threatened with death as revenge for the jinn's imprisonment. The fisherman must use his wit to trick the jinn back into the jar. In another tale, Islamic tradition describes how Prophet Solomon or Suleiman used a divine ring to control the jinn and compel them to build monumental structures, showing how their powers could be both dangerous and useful if controlled. Then there's the tale of the pomegranate and the talking bird, where a vengeful jinn curses a prince, reminding us that not all jinn have noble intentions. Whether granting wishes or exacting revenge, the jinn often blur the lines between helping and harming, making them as unpredictable as they are powerful and mysterious. The jinn were also known for their trickery and deception, often using their shape-shifting abilities to mislead humans. One famous story tells of a jinn disguising itself as a kind of knowledgeable traveller, offering to guide a merchant through the desert. The merchant, trusting the stranger, followed him deep into the wilderness, only to be abandoned and left to perish. In another tale, a jinn grants a king immense power, convincing him that it will ensure his kingdom's prosperity. However, the jinn manipulates the king into suspecting treachery from his closest advisors, driving him into a paranoia. The king, consumed by fear, alienates his court, weakens his rule, and ultimately loses his throne, all orchestrated by the jinn just for its own amusement. These tales highlight the cunning and often malicious nature of the jinn, making them both fascinating and fearsome figures in folklore. So, how did the jinn go from terrifying desert spirits to the friendly Disney version? The tale of Aladdin and the magic lamp comes from the book 1001 Nights. Now, these were a series of stories collected over centuries and translated by Antonin Galland. However, in order to make it more palatable for a European audience, Galland added certain elements. This included the magic lamp and the 3 wishes, and basically made them nice. Most Arabic stories of the jinn are much darker. The jinn are often portrayed as mean and selfish, with some exceptions. They have families, governments, and societies. Some are kind and pious, some are rebellious, and some are outright nasty, similar to humans. Now, this is an interesting dichotomy to Christianity, where angels and demons are portrayed as good and bad, with humanity orbiting in the grey. So, how do you protect yourself from a jinn? Well, luckily, the next time you're in the Arabian desert, there's no need to panic because I've got 6 tips for you that you can use to stay safe. Number 1, perhaps the most obvious, is to stay away from the Arabian desert. I live in Manchester, and throughout the history of Manchester, there has been 0 reported cases of jinn. Number 2, recite verses from the Quran, especially Ayat ul-Kursi. This should keep those nasty jinn at bay. Number 3, not subscribing to random history videos. Apparently, if you watch videos and you don't subscribe to the channel, you can actually attract the jinn, who will punish you. So be careful and make sure you subscribe. Number 4, don't whistle at night. Islamic tradition believes that whistling at night can attract the jinn, so just don't do it. Number 5, avoid abandoned places and crossroads at night. The jinn are believed to inhabit deserted ruins, old wells, and crossroads, especially after dark. If you value your peace of mind, it's best to just stay clear of these areas. Number 6, don't throw things randomly. According to some traditions, throwing rocks or objects into the desert or unknown areas can accidentally hit a jinn and provoke their wrath. Now, to be fair, if someone threw a rock at my head, I would be angry, so I'm with the jinn on this one. So what do you think? Are jinn misunderstood creatures or a straight-up nightmare? Whether you see them as beings of fire or legend born from human imagination, the jinn remain one of history's most intriguing mysteries. Before you go, I want you to know your thoughts in the comments section. If you have a magic genie like Aladdin, what would be your 3 wishes? Let me know, and while you're down there, please like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a great day.